I spent the last 2 years writing an absolute odyssey of a novel, and I'm so excited to share it with the world. But I've got a bit more to go. And by a bit, I mean about 1 more year. So, what's this? Why film now when all I've really got to show is my progress and dedication? And what can I show except for another 1,000+ hours of me sitting at a desk? Because, well, how boring is that? I mean, seriously.
Hey, you. Are you growing yet? How about now?
But there's another story here. It's a story of the artistic process. Before print or binding, readers or audience, when anonymous labor is simply for the sake of labor. Because as an artist, that's all you really know how to do. So this, well, here's to the process. From dedication to publication. Okay, so this whole documentation thing is very much an experiment, and I'm starting a bit before I'm ready, fully expecting to cringe at this later on, but my main goal with this first video is I just want to make some mistakes so I can learn from them as soon as possible and start incrementally improving. I've already hit a few bumps in the road. It's just a lot more to this than I first thought. Like learning how to be and behave on camera, learning all kinds of new techniques, and technical difficulties. You know, like thinking I can edit video on this glorious 12-year-old Surface. But I look forward to the challenges along the way, like how to make something fundamentally boring, not. Adding narrative and cinematic touches to make a story all on its own. And doing all that in what is effectively a 9x7 box. I'm not joking. I bought an RV to wander the country and write more. More on that another time, maybe, but it's 26 feet long, and my bedroom, aka studio, is this funky 9x7 layout, most of which belonging to my bed. Now, the problem with this is just where to set my camera. I mean, look, I've tried here, I've tried here, and I've even set my tripod on my bed. It's just hard to get depth in an interesting visual. Might get a new lens, but for now, I'm just going to settle with this symmetric bed shot. But despite these challenges, I think I can do it, because I'm already getting excited. Because while I'm not ready to share the details of my novel, I can at least share the process of writing it. The setbacks, breakthroughs, challenges, and payoffs I have along the way. As for why exactly I'm doing this, in gist, I hope that in the future, this can be useful for all sorts of aspiring artists who are in positions similar to mine now. To anyone who desires to devote every part of themselves for the sake of their art. Now for the biggest challenge, the time-lapse challenge. Can I somehow edit my weekly workload into a digestible video? With my current schedule, I write around 20 to 23 hours a week. Shooting that at 60 times their actual speed means that each hour is rendered as 1 minute in real time. Which, if you've been watching the video in my lap, means that I've got another 19 minutes of footage from this week alone. And as we established in the beginning of the video, no one wants to watch this for 19 minutes. That's boring. Now I could just throw it all away, but this is an experiment. So for this video, I've decided to roll my credits and give a little status update as to where I stand with my novel today.
Okay, so this is going to get a little technical. but this is how I measure/estimate my progress. At the time of writing this script, I've clocked a little over 100,000 words to date. Yes, this is going to be a bigger novel, which I realize makes this traditionally less publishable since I'll be a new author. I expect to talk more about this in a later video, but for now, I'm concentrated on telling my story as it needs to be told. In the end, I estimate I'll hit around 180k words, and I'll cut that back to the 160k range once I involve an editor. Now, as far as where I am in the book, my percent to completion, the most simplified version of that answer is 60%. To dig a little deeper and give some insight as to the evolving nature of this novel, I've written 10 out of 25 of my overarching chapters. How do I get 60% from that? Well, these are milestones according to my original outline, which has morphed and expanded far beyond my original expectations, because several of those 10 milestones contain around 3 to 4 actual chapters within them. So all in all, I'm really sitting at around 21 out of 36 chapters, or 60%. Which brings us to the final metric, the current chapter. I'm on chapter 22, and I'm close to finishing it too. I usually break this down into quality and progress. Quality-wise, I'd say I'm around 80% of what the final chapter will look like. I edit as I go, and I introduced a new character in this chapter whose dialogue I've rewritten 4 or 5 times at this point as I attempt to figure out his tone and incentives. Progress-wise, I've finished around 70% of the chapter. I've got 3 more scenes to go, and I'm shooting to finish that in this upcoming week. I do want to point out here that for any current chapter, I'm really aiming to hit 90% on my quality and progress scores before moving on. The reason for this is because I know from experience that as I write future chapters, those will inevitably affect prior ones. So if I target 100% complete chapters this early in the process, they'll end up changing anyways. So that's where I'm at with my novel as of publishing this video. I don't plan to add status updates to all my videos, but this being the first one, I wanted to note where I'm at as I start this documentation process. Future Seamus here. I've had this video ready to go for a couple of months now, but I never published it. On top of some big life changes, I just started to doubt this whole YouTube endeavor. Came up with all kinds of silly reasons as to postpone this publication, but basically they all boiled down to just me fearing the idea of publication and putting myself out there. So, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I mean, I 100% plan to publish my novel, and that'll be 100 times as daunting as uploading this video, so here it is, and look out for more.